So joining me today from Dhaka, representing Calcutta, is Kaniska Chakraborty, who's a ad man and a food blogger, and he's also a big fan of Alan's prawn cutlets. So thanks for joining us, Kaniska. Joining us from Bengaluru is a big YouTube star, Archana Doshi, who runs Archana's Kitchen, which is a very, very popular YouTube channel. Joining us from Delhi is one of the most respected food writers and journalists today, Marryam Reshi, who's like a fountainhead of food stories, and she's traveled all across India, and she's going to have a lot of stories with us. And joining us today from Mumbai is Riyaaz Amlani, who's a star restaurateur, whose restaurants have redefined Mumbai's dining history today, and as well as dining across India. So we've got a very stellar cast today with a lot of experience, and we're going to talk about what is India's and which is India's foodiest city. So Archana, I was seeing you say in Twitter that you would also say that Calcutta is quite a foodie city. So I was a bit intrigued about that. I didn't know about your Calcutta connection.
Oh yes, so I lived in Calcutta for about 2 years, and I worked in Calcutta, and I'm married to a family in Calcutta who settled there for about 4 generations. And having lived in Calcutta and after traveled around, I've noticed that the kind of food you get in Calcutta I've not found anywhere. There's so much of variety, from street food, from the golgappas to jalmuri to kati rolls to puchkas to ghugni to, I mean, there is so much that you can absorb when you just step into the street. And one thing that I never miss is the chai that they serve in that earthen pots. That totally carries a different flavor. And these are the things that I carry back and go back to look forward when I go to Calcutta. And the street food is just something that stays in my mind when I think about Calcutta and its food.
And also the thing about Calcutta, which I saw when I came to Mumbai, is that in Calcutta people have this unabashed love for food and keep talking about food, while in other cities, especially in Mumbai, you're supposed to get down and get to work and not talk about food. So that's one big difference I saw between the cities. Kaniska,
and work comes later.
Yeah, Kalyan.
Kaniska, you've traveled across cities in India. So do you see any city matching Calcutta when it comes to the love for food?
I would actually the city that I've eaten most is your city, Mumbai, and the city that comes next in my mind for the sheer history, heritage, and the culture is Delhi. I have had some lovely time walking around Jama Masjid, sampling the achari biryani, sampling the raan and the different kebabs and the firnis on the street. And I'm not talking about Kareem. I'm talking about the shops on the street next to Kareem, next to the third gate at Jama Masjid. That's something that has stayed with me. And also the breadth of food in Delhi, which is also phenomenal. This is just a larger city. It's a capital city of India. Therefore, there are a lot more settlements. There are a lot more activity that's happening there. So, in my mind, if I were to choose another city next to Calcutta where I would go to eat, would certainly be Delhi.
Every time you go back from Mumbai, you do go back with tubs of natural ice creams and Theobroma brownies. So, I mean, we in Mumbai have a bit of a stake on you, Kaniska, as well.
You do, but just to tell you, the natural ice cream is there in Calcutta as well these days. Not the fruit flavors, but the nut flavors and chocolate flavors there.
Great. Talking of Calcutta, Riyaaz, I mean, you've opened you've opened smokehouse in Calcutta and saltwater across cities, and you started from Mumbai. So now that you're opening restaurants across the country, do you see a difference in the food ethos across country versus Mumbai? Anything which makes us special?
Can anybody hear me?
Yes,
I can. Yes,
okay,
loud and clear.
So, you know, somebody who's run restaurants in all these 4 cities, right? I find that people's propensity to try out new cuisines and to have a more open mind and accept more stuff, I think it's very difficult to meet Bombay. We definitely have more interested in the length and breadth of cuisine. I mean, we have everything that you all just mentioned. We have what we call pani puri, which is puchkas. Kati rolls, you know, is very much part of our everyday life. Every time we go out, you know, we go in for a kati roll. We have the Muhammad Ali Road, and we have the Bhendi Bazaar, and we have the Bori Mulla. But I think in sheer breadth, I mean, the kind of cuisine, like we have Bori food over here, we have Farsi food over here, we have Gujarati food over here, we have Gomantak food over here, we have Konkani food over here, we have Bangalorean food over here. I mean, there's just no question. There's no way that any other city can have the kind of like, and also not just the offering, but also the audience. I think that's where I think Bombay scores over everybody else. I think that people, in Calcutta are not that experimental when it comes to trying out new things. They like, they like their own little places, and they like their own little comfort gymkhanas, and they keep going back to more of the same. But when it comes to actually stepping out of the comfort zone and embracing things, can't beat Bombay.
I completely agree with you, Riyaaz, because I came to Mumbai from Calcutta about 16 years back, and Mumbai has taught me so much. I mean, it's taught me that there's more to South Indian food than idli and dosas. The fact that you can eat a fish curry with roti and not just rice. I mean, the city's taught me a lot of things. But I'm going to touch on a slightly sensitive topic, because we are talking about Mumbai being a laissez-faire and a free city and an experimental city and where everything goes. But at the same time, this is a city which unfortunately is becoming infamous for first the beef ban and then the meat ban. So do you think that's going to be a bit of a self-goal for Mumbai when it comes to the foodiest city claim?
I think the beef ban is all over India, so it's very difficult. I mean, with the exception of a couple of states, it's
including Calcutta beef rocks.
Okay, can I just tell you that the quality of ingredients available in Bombay suck. I mean, they're really, really horrible. I mean, the kind of produce that you get in Bangalore and in Calcutta and Delhi is phenomenal. But having said that, I think that in terms of just the sheer breadth of offering, because Bombay is way bigger a melting pot than any other city, is way more heterogeneous than any other city. So, it really has the length and breadth of India there. The microcosm is Bombay. I mean, yes, the beef ban and now this 4-day ban is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, that sort of tarnishes a bit from the food point of view, but I think that there's enough of us to sort of go beyond that. Coming back to you, Archana, why do you think that Bangalore is not spoken about as much as Calcutta, Delhi, Bombay for sure, but even like when I brought up this thing about foodiest city, people said Indore, Surat and Lucknow and whatever, but Bangalore hardly gets talked about. Why? Because Bangalore food is great.
So when it comes to South India, people generally associate, as you rightly said, right? There is more to idli, dosa and the darshanis. There is a whole variety of food that is probably not tapped and is like, for example, there's Chettinad and there's Andhra, and there's just more to biryani than in Andhra. In the Andhra food, and there is more to pepper chicken in the Chettinad food. So I think it's about the awareness that people are creating. There are not many restaurants. They're probably the smaller end restaurants that are opening up. One more thing that comes to my mind is Calcutta, Bombay and Delhi. All of them have a very, very popular street food culture, which is non-existent in South India. So by street food, I do not mean just Vidipuram is an exception where you do get street food in Bangalore. But if you go to other parts of South India apart from Bangalore, apart from mutta dosa and bread, pakoda that you get in the carts, which you probably wouldn't eat, which I've eaten way back when I was young, but that is something that people wouldn't go back to on an everyday basis, like you would go back to a vada pav or a gugni or a jalmuri, right? So, maybe that's one of the reasons I think that cuisine-centric, as in like food-centric, is not as popular. But I think I have to, maybe Riyaaz would be able to answer it. Most restaurants try to open their first shop in Bangalore, because I think it's a very trying and testing place. People, all the, like from Fatty Bao to Monkey Bar to Smokehouse Delhi, right? So everybody set their foot first in Bangalore to open up, the high-end restaurants to try out, because there is a huge amount of population.
You do realize you're saying that people from other cities have to come to Bangalore and open up restaurants for Bangalore to become foodies.
Yeah.
And the other reason could be just my 2 pennies word that Bangalore is the newer of these cities. Calcutta, Bombay, Delhi go back a while, and Bangalore is a much more younger city, and therefore the time is also.
I think Bangalore is actually and is one of the most profitable cities in which to open up restaurant.
Yeah.
The people love. They have this tremendous culture. I think people leave their offices, go to restaurants, and they're nicely sozzled by the time it's 11:30.
No, I think it is more of the microbreweries that are popping up a lot more than restaurants.
Yeah.
I see a lot because I'm unable to, with a family, I'm unable to find a good place that I can go with my kids because everything is a microbrewery. Either it's a toy or
but there's a strong restaurant culture also,
Smokehouse
right?
Delhi is the only place I come to, Riyaaz, so you won't believe it.
but there's a strong restaurant culture also in the Archana, right? I mean, the Kulbi places and the Andhra places and so on.
So there's a huge churn of restaurants. There are a few set of restaurants I've actually stayed for a long time in Bangalore, and I see the smaller ones keep coming and going.
Now, talking of restaurants, Kaniska, I'm just coming to you because, see, being the foodiest city is not all about restaurants, because one of the things which people used to talk about, say about Calcutta, is that people in Calcutta wouldn't go out and eat as much in restaurants as people in other cities. I mean, it was more street foods or sitting at the Para Rock and having tele bhaja and cha and chatting about food. But do you think that there's a change happening in Kolkata, or people are willing to go out and eat more?
There's definitely a change happening in Kolkata. There is a lot of restaurants. Smokehouse Delhi is happily doing business in Kolkata, and I love that Eggs Benedict. Whenever I go there, I eat that. But I agree with the Kalyan, it's still the street food culture. Restaurants still have a long way to go. Yes, we have the fusion Bengali cuisine restaurant, which pushes the boundary, which pushes the envelope in Bohemia. You do have a Smokehouse Delhi and other like a spaghetti kitchen, which are opening up its outlets in Kolkata. But it's still the Alan Cabin, it's still the Mitro Cafe, it's still the Jhalmuri Wala on the Para corner, it's still the Puchka Wala, it's still the Mrityunjay Shingara, and it's still the Nokuder Shondesh that rules the roost in Kolkata for sure. It's still the Para Chai Dukan that I'll go. That's my first choice, and not a CCP.
And the people who can afford end up eating in the 5 stars. This is my opinion.
There is an Oberoi and there is a Taj, and that's frequented by people who can afford to go there, and that's where they go for the relative luxury for the quality of food also.
And that's a lot of legends which you mentioned, Kaniska, which makes me want to catch a flight this evening back to Cal. But coming to you, Riyaaz, you've opened restaurants in the big cities, but also in some of the tier 1, the smaller cities. And do you find a difference in the food culture in the smaller cities when it comes to openness to trying out things versus the bigger cities?
I think that what pattern we have seen in what you call a smaller city, non-metro cities, is that the initial excitement is super high. Like everybody's talking about the new restaurant, everybody wants to come and try it, but the patterns are really hard to break. So they will come and try it, and they will put it up on their Facebook that they're there, and perhaps they post up a Zomato review saying how much they loved it. But they will go back to their own consumption patterns. I mean, like, it's really hard to beat a Grand Bhagwati in Ahmedabad, for example. I mean, people just want to keep going back because I guess they're less prone to alien flavors, like those comfort flavors and their signature over there, and they keep going back for more. So when it comes to I think I would rate this in order. I would say that Bob has the highest propensity to embrace cuisine from other cultures. Delhi would be number 2, and I would say Bangalore would be number 3. In Calcutta, honestly speaking, we opened up a restaurant there, but I find that Calcutta has a pattern, and it's really difficult to break through into. I mean, they have gorgeous clubhouses, and and also the street food culture in Calcutta is amazing. It's fantastic.
I think I would sort of agree with you, Riyaaz, that sometimes we in Bengalis or we Calcuttas tend to swing between extremes. Either we get very fixated to our favorites, or we can be the most open-minded of people around. But yeah, we do tend to swing between extremes, and especially when you're back home in Calcutta, there's a bit of this tendency to stick to the tried and the tested. Archana, I'm going to take you a bit as a representative of the South, because I know you're in Bangalore, but what about Chennai? Because Chennai has a very strong food culture as well. So, but is it again more like Calcutta? Is it more of a traditional foodie city, or is Chennai open to trying out new things? Any point of view?
Very similar to Calcutta, and it has its own, as I rightly said, as I mentioned before, I think the popularity of cuisine when it has to travel across the world gets, you attach a stigma towards the South Indian cuisine. There are these few popular dishes that are available, and that's what people become aware. And Chennai doesn't have street food culture, most parts of Tamil Nadu do not have a street food culture. And people I don't see very many new restaurants. I mean, I've been to a few restaurants recently in Chennai, and all of them are all good. They have great food, but it's not like a happening place like it would be in Bangalore. I think there is a youth factor that is there in Bangalore, and a lot more people coming out. Maybe it's because of the IT industry. So when I compare Chennai and Bangalore, I'm yet to see Chennai up there when to a more happening, to more fun place to experience a restaurant type of a feel, as opposed to apart from just food. So yeah, so the experience of going to a restaurant is not there. That's my opinion.
Favorite idlis in the world for me are Murugan Idli shop.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So, but I've always kind of drawn a parallel between the southern three cities and in the north. I always feel that Hyderabad is the closest towards Delhi, Bangalore is the closest towards Bombay, and Chennai is the closest towards Calcutta in terms of its behavior patterns and consumption patterns.
And Riyaaz, having gone to Hyderabad a few times, what I feel is that Hyderabad is a very underrated city, because the sort of love for food which people have there probably rivals that of the love for food which people in Calcutta have, because people love their food in Hyderabad, but it's not talked about that much, and it's sort of brushed aside as a biryani city. But I think there's a lot more to Hyderabad.
But Hyderabad in coming days, with people moving into Hyderabad a lot more these days, you will hear a lot more about Hyderabad.
Absolutely.
So that migration happened in Bangalore, where people have come into Bangalore, settled, started working, experienced the city. In Hyderabad, that's its beginning. It's for the last 10 years that's been happening. So it's going to accelerate even more. So we're going to hear a lot more about Hyderabad from people.
I completely agree with you, Kaniska. I think Hyderabad is the one which is going to really catch on. It's going to be the fastest growing city when it comes to food.
Yeah, it's going to go beyond paradise.
Wow.
But you know what, we've been talking about cities like Mumbai, Bangalore, or even Hyderabad being redefined by the youth over there, or by the migrant culture. But I want to go to like the big daddy of them all, the national city, Delhi, because Delhi is the city which probably has the most amount of history and heritage there, and I'm sure that rubs off on its food as well, Marryam. So does the historic identity of Delhi, Marryam, identify the food identity as well?
Partly it does, because Delhi is, who is a Delhi wala? Either he is a Vaish or a Banya, or he is a Kayas, or he is a Muslim, or he is a Punjabi. And all these have their own very, very distinct identities and of course cuisines. And all these are represented in some restaurants or some catering outfits, etc. Plus, over the centuries, people have been coming for work and to work in the government in all from all walks and from all parts of the country. So we have Chettinad food, which is absolutely brilliantly represented, and they can afford to do that because it only caters to the Chettinad settlers in Delhi. I mean, how cool is that? It does not have to make any concessions to the local palate. It does not have to have paneer biryani from Chettinad, for example, because there's no such thing as paneer biryani in the Chettinad region, and B, if you don't want to have, I mean, if you don't eat mutton biryani, then there's always something else in the non-vegetarian thing, or you can just go elsewhere. I mean, there's so much, there's such a huge cornucopia of variety in Delhi that in my opinion, no city matches it. Except, yes, there are 3 cities in North India. One of them is Amritsar. One of them is my dear old Srinagar. I have to mention my home city, and the home city of my husband actually. And the other one is, I've said Lucknow, Amritsar, and Srinagar. These are 3 very important food cities, although none of them are exactly a metropolis. So they kind of are given short shrift. But Delhi, I would say Delhi is like the case study. In fact, our good friend Riyaaz once said that if a restaurateur can't make money in Delhi, he should not be in business. Yes, Riyaaz?
I remember saying that, yes.
Yeah.
Which you've brought in, Marryam, which is the diversity of Delhi, because through centuries people from all over India have gone in, and it's great to know that the food is represented there. But you know, Delhi, Marryam, like as an outsider, whenever one thinks of Delhi food, it's primarily either the Punjabi tandoori chicken image which comes across, or among foodies a bit of the Delhi old Delhi image. So why isn't this metropolitan nature of Delhi that popular or famous across India?
Across India, I genuinely don't know the answer to that. A lot of people do denigrate us as being butter chicken eaters, which I strongly object to. But I think the variety of, like, say, Mapila food and Parsi food and all these other, like the micro, like Gujarati food, etc. I think that has kind of taken over from the core Delhi, like the Banya food and the Kayast food, I would say. Because the Kayast community was a very well-to-do community who didn't, I mean, they could afford cooks and things in their own houses, so they never bothered to go out and eat the food of their cuisine. Like all the mill workers in Bombay, for example, they did not have the wherewithal to cook in their house, so they used to go to all these small little restaurants, which are now like much fated all across Bombay, like Kumantaks, etc., etc. Like in Delhi, there was no such parallel at that time. So, not for Kayast food, but yes, as a cuisine, of course, it's one of the core cuisines of Delhi.
Really fascinating. Are there any restaurants where one can go for that sort of food, or is it more home food, the Kayast food?
There are caterers now. Now, actually, the latest trend in Delhi is to research food. So, a lot of food, I mean, a lot of cuisines which would have been dying are now very happily being researched, and they're coming into the forefront. And people are having catered parties, they're having pop-ups. That's a very big trend now in Delhi.
Riyaaz, you've run restaurants in Mumbai and Delhi. As a restaurateur, what is the difference you find between the two cities?
Between Delhi and Bombay?
That's right.
Well, I think that Delhi people, you know, they when they go out to eat, and they love to eat, you know, they really splurge when it comes to eating out. I think the difference between Delhi and Bombay is Delhi is not as conscious about value as much as it is conspicuous consumption, and I think that Bombay people are more value conscious when it comes to, you know, choosing and picking out their restaurants. Mm-hmm. But of course, that is now changing. I think everybody is now moving to, you know, to the casual scene and to moving to a more value-oriented offering. That now you're getting great food in, you know, in small hole-in-the-wall operations as well. But I have to say, I have to say, like, for example, if you look at just Horse Khas Village, the sheer variety of the kind of restaurants available in that place is unmatched.
Yeah, I mean, it's really brilliant over there. I've had some great
places in Horse Khas. It's got Tibet, Naga food, it's got South Indian food, I mean, it's got Kerala food, it's got food from all over, it's got Kashmiri food.
Yeah, in fact, taking on from what Riyaaz is saying, Marryam, whenever I go to Delhi to places like Horse Khas Village or Khan Market and so on, as a Mumbaiker, I really sort of envy the variety which you guys have and in Indian food in Delhi. So I think that's really exciting. So what I'm going to do is, since I've got such a great cast with me representing their cities, and we've got people from all over the world watching, I'm going to ask each of you to give the name of 3 restaurants in your cities which people should try to get a flavor of what the food in the city is all about. So I'm going to start with you, Kaniska. Which are the 3 restaurants in Kolkata one should go to get a flavor of Calcutta, and probably which are the dishes to try there?
Okay, so the first and obvious one that I would urge people to go to is a place called Bohemian, where they're pushing the boundaries of Bengali cuisine vehemently. There is this guy, Joy Banerjee, Chef Joy, who takes on Bengali ingredients and applies European techniques to it. So you get dishes like baked in Panchforan emulsion, for example. So that's one place I would definitely want people to try. And to contrast that, the other thing I would like people to try is something called, I'm not going to get into the Calcuttas and the 6 Baligas, which are chains, but there is one place called Siddheshwari Ashram. It's on Free School Street. It's a small little eatery where you eat in community table, sharing your seat with, sharing your table with 5 other unknown people. But the quality of food, oh my God, that's what. home cooked food should be, and that's what home cooked food used to be. And that's where you go to have an authentic classical Bengali meal with chachra and macher matha and mangsho and ghonto and chachuri and all that stuff. Those are the two places I would certainly want. But the third place is very close to my heart. And I can't talk of Calcutta devoid of the place called Darjeeling and Sikkim, because they were stone's throw from Calcutta. And there is a brilliant place called Blue Poppy that has opened up in Calcutta for the last 10 odd years. They sell ethereal momos and ethereal pork shapta. So these are the three places I want people definitely to go. One is Bohemian, to see what modern Bengali cuisine can be. To contrast that, a Siddheshwari Ashram, a classical old Bengali place. And three is this Tibetan, Bhutanese, Nepalese joint called Blue Poppy, where you would have your steamed pork momos and pork shaftas.
Kaniska, I'm a bit shocked. Not Alan's for the prawn cutlet?
I'm spoiled for choice.
I know.
I am spoiled for choice. I would also say Mrityunjay, Shingara, and Nokude Shonde.
I know.
But I'm spoiled for choice. If you put me at a gunpoint and make me and ask me to make a choice,
that's Calcutta for you.
A special place for Rasgulla?
I would say Chittoranjan. I'm not a great Rasgulla person. I'm much more of a Sandesh person. But Chittoranjan near Sham Bazaar is.
Anyway, I'm told Cuttack is the place to go for Rasagullas.
I'm sorry.
Cuttack is the place to go for Rasagullas. I'm told
that's
nowadays.
That's another debate.
That's a debate for another day.
Okay.
So, Archana, which are the three places in Bengaluru one should go to get a flavor of the city, and what should one eat there?
One place you must go is Vivipuram. It is a place where you get a lot of. There's a traditional South Indian bakery called which provides the spicy buns and spicy cookies. So that is something that you must try. And apart from the South Indian bakery, there are multiple. There's bhajis and pakodas which is available, which is South Indian, and of course the North Indian flavors do come in from your Gulkand chaat. Which is there right at the end of Vivipuram. I forget the name exactly, but he serves a fantastic Gulkand chaat with fruits and custard and Gulkand in it. Wow. And there's a really nice place I finally found. I had to travel all the way to Vivipuram to get that chaat by the Delhi Chaat House. I think that's what it's called. And it's got great chaat over there.
Delhi Chaat House.
Delhi Chaat House, exactly. But I hunted down in Bangalore, where can I find the Calcutta style puchkas, right? I'm a fan of Calcutta style puchkas. It's got that moody masala flavor to the pani and the aloo and the chana in it. So there's a place called Kolkata Victoria Chaat House where we make yes, and it is available in every and these guys are they're all over Bangalore now. I mean, they've got the entire team, and every corner has a Kolkata Victoria Chaat House, and it's fantastic.
I'm going to share a little secret with the panel here. Archana got an extra 10 minutes from me before the chat by saying that she's going to plump for Calcutta, and I did give her the extra 10 minutes. So that's a little secret between Archana and me. Riyaaz, your restaurants today is something, whether Smokehouse, Social or Saltwater, places which I would recommend to people to get a flavor of Mumbai today. So those apart, which are the three restaurants in Mumbai that you would recommend to people to get a flavor of the city? What should they try there?
It's impossible to say it in just three, right?
Okay, you can add more. You can add more. Go ahead.
Let me put it in categories, right? I would say there's I mean, of course, for Parsi food is something that being half Parsi, I have to say that Britannia is quintessentially one of the places that you have to visit. Secondly, I would say that street food in Bombay is also awesome. I mean, from Minara Masjid, that whole little circle that even it goes right into the Muslim area and goes left into Kalba Devi and the fantastic bhojanalayas, which is amazing. And of course, if the whole world comes to Bombay to eat at Trishna and at Mahesh Lunch Home and Gajali, which is again indisputed when it comes to seafood. I mean, weirdly, Bombay is quite magical. And I would also then talk a little about the contemporary face of Bombay food, which is I think where is being pushed the most. I mean, I know Indigo is an old story, but I think the food over there is still fantastic. Restaurants like Table, which is again pushing the envelope when it comes to contemporary Indian cuisine. So yeah, I think that all three of these, some Bombay lies somewhere in the middle of all these.
Yeah, I'm glad, Riyaaz, that you spoke about the modern face of Mumbai as well, because when one talks about food, one tends to romanticize about the past. But the fact is that Mumbai is a city where standalone restaurants outside of five-star hotels have really pushed the envelope of international cuisine. And I think that one should recognize that, because that's what the face of Mumbai is today. And that's a very important point. So coming to you, Marryam, you can choose. I'm not going to restrict you. Either 3 spots in Delhi, or go ahead and give more, because there's so much you can say which you want to tap into.
Okay. So the first one I would say is United Coffee House, which is in Connaught Place. A, because it gives you a sense of historicity of Delhi, and B, because some of the stuff on its menu you'll only get in Delhi. And they include days of the Raj tea time snacks, as well as like stuff that has been, westernized food that has been given a little twist only for the North Indian palate, for example, tomato fish. And it is kind of like frozen in time in the 1950s and 60s. That's a very, very charming place for hanging out as much as for eating lunch, dinner or tea or even breakfast. The second place I would say is Bukhara, because it's 35 years old and it has got a name which people keep saying, oh, the food has gone down, etc. But try and get a table on any evening, like even on a Monday or a Tuesday, and you won't be able to get a table, which says something about the popularity. They must be doing something right. It's crowded night after night. And also it kind of embodies the upward mobility of Delhi, which is what Riyaaz was trying to say politely. I can say it a little bit more bluntly. Yes, we are upwardly mobile and we are proud of it. So Bukhara kind of exemplifies that. And the third thing is, depending on your point of view, I would say choose a market and hang out there. Choose Khan Market if you want to be genteel. Sit in Latitude or sit in Smokehouse Delhi, or just watch the world wag by, see power play, because like a lot of politicos come to all these restaurants in Khan Market. Or if you want, you can go to Horse Khas Village, except of course please don't go on a Friday, Saturday or Sunday evening, because then it's a complete mania. And the third place that you can go to is, I would suggest either the whole of Chandni Chowk, which is a very, very vast field, but I would say just narrow it down to one place. For example, Bazaar Sitaram, where you will get the best kulfi, you will get bedmi aloo, you'll get all sorts of things that you can only get in Old Delhi, and that too. And there's something called Kulle ki chaat, which is a bit long to describe, so I won't take the trouble, but like it's a dying thing, and it's only available in one place, and at one place in Bazaar Sitaram. So it's all the ancient Indian food which is sort of heritage, and now it's going to be like on its way out. So those are the 3 places I would say.
And Marryam, I'll just add to that if you're a Calcutta missing expat in any part of India, then you should go to Chittaranjan Park and have Shubroto's mutton ghugni cooked by his mother, the lovely fuchkas there, and the fish cutlets at Dadu's. So that's my first point when I go to Delhi. So thanks so much, Marryam, Riyaaz, Archana, Kaniska, for joining me today, because you guys have not only been great ambassadors for your city, but also the fact is that you guys have traveled across India and traveled across the world, and therefore you don't really have that frog in the mind mindset, but instead have brought in some really nice analysis and perspectives across the country, and which is what we were looking for. So thanks so much for joining me. And talking of food heritage, I'm going to leave you today with a video which is on a place which is a part of Mumbai's food heritage, a 70-year-old place called Surti Barahandi, which brings a part of Mumbai's food heritage which is slowly dying out. But I would like you to see it and probably go and encourage places like this to watch this video on Surti Barahandi on the Finely Chopped, and hopefully like it and subscribe to the channel as well. So see you now, and join you on the next Adda with Kalyan. So we are now at Surti Barahandi, which represents the fast disappearing arts of Mumbai, the Barahandi cuisine, which you get in very, very few places like Bori Mohalla, and there are very few places left. and this is one of them where you get them. This shop, Surti, is a more than 80-year-old shop, and what you get is Barahandi, which means that dishes which have been cooked in 12 vessels, so they've been slow cooked, the meats have been cooked separately, and there have been a wheat and lentil broth which have been cooked together, and then mix it, and you get one of the most tender, one of the most flavoursome, one of the beautiful, most beautiful meat experiences that you can get in Mumbai.